Okay. Hi, I'm Faisal Saleh. I'm a Palestinian living in the U.S. as a U.S. citizen there. I'm originally from a village called Selma, which is about 5 kilometers east of Jaffa. My family were refugees in 1948 and ended up in the Ramallah area. I was born a few years later, and I'm the youngest of 11 children. I grew up in the West Bank, attended public schools there, and in 1969 I came to the United States to finish the last year of high school. I attended college and worked in business after that for about 45 years. Having finished my business involvement, I began looking for things to do for Palestine because while I was working I did not have time to dedicate to Palestine. And by accident, I came across some people who were trying to start a museum. I worked with them shortly for a while, and then I didn't like how they were operating, so I left and started a new organization and opened the first Palestine museum in the Western Hemisphere in the year 2018 in the state of Connecticut, USA.
So Faisal, that's really interesting, hearing your backgrounds and what you've been through, what you've seen and experienced. As the founder of Palestine Museum, am I right to say that?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you find it a challenge to start the first Palestine museum in America?
I won't call it a challenge. I call there were a lot of issues and difficulties that needed to be resolved, but none of them were the type that we could not overcome. And I think it was a straightforward process. It just needed a certain amount of planning and some funding, and then we were on our way. Fortunately, I own the building that my business used to be in, and that we housed the museum in that building, so that saved a lot of money and made it more economically feasible. And the mission of the museum was really to tell the Palestinian story to a global audience. As you know, the corporate media has cast Palestinians in a negative light. They seldom cover us unless we have some negative news about us. And they're always quick to call us terrorists, and we are terrorists until proven innocent. And with after the October 7th events, the media had really went into overdrive, and they tried to describe what happened as atrocities and the beheaded babies and raped women and all that. Of course, none of that turned out to be true. They were all fabricated lies to kind of dehumanize Palestinians and make it easy to kill Palestinians without any repercussions. And that, even though things were proven wrong and these lies were proven fabrications, the damage had been done. And the Palestinians had kind of suffered as a result of that.
Of course. And
people in the world were their attention were detracted from that, and basically we were made to look like we were not human, and as a result Israel was able to go and kill us and destroy our life structures and cities, and so the media is very dangerous. They're more dangerous than the bombs they drop on people because they enable the genocide to take place, and they make it easy for other people to do crimes against Palestinians and get away with it.
And so I guess one of the key objectives, like you're saying, part of the reason why you started this museum is to actually, in a way, take control back of the real narrative for Palestinians.
Yeah, we wanted to counteract the false negative, the false and negative narrative, and we wanted to let the world know who the real Palestinians are. And we want to show that the Palestinians are human, and they have artists and they have talented people, and that's what the role of the museum is. So our role is to showcase Palestinian artistic excellence. We opened a museum in Edinburgh in the best part of the town, a street called Dundas Street, where all the famous art galleries are located, and we have a beautiful space.
That's amazing
So
news.
it is very important for us as Palestinians to show that what we're doing is just as good as everybody else's,
Yeah.
if not better, and that we are human and we're entitled to human rights
Exactly.
as a result. So it's very, very important to you to have a Palestinian art showcased because it's the best way to communicate our story through the arts, because people are receptive to art, and art tugs at the strings of the heart. Art makes people emotional.
It connects.
Stirs up emotion in people, and allows us to communicate freely. Whereas political wrangles is often not as productive.
That is so true. Just going back quickly on the fact that, going back to the real objective of the Palestine Museum that you've started, do you find that with the fact that there's easy access to social media at the moment and people can actually get first-hand news with what's happening in Palestine, we're talking about Gaza, West Bank, people are more aware of what's happening. Does that help with your objective? With what you're trying to do?
It helps to an extent, but not everybody is really into social media, and certain segments of society are still like living business as usual. They go out to dinner, everybody's having a good time. Nobody has heard of what's going on in Gaza, in some of the countries and cities in the U.S. and other European countries, and as if nothing is going on.
Yeah.
So it is a challenge still to bring our narrative to everybody,
to mainstream,
and to get change to happen, at least at the government level. Yes, there are huge numbers of people that are supporting Palestine now, and they demonstrate every weekend, and they raise a lot of noise, but that has not been sufficient in many cases to change the policies of the governments. Like in the UK, for instance, they recognize Palestine, but they still supply Israel with weapons. So go figure, So we still have a long way to go, but we have to continue with this road. We have to continue to tell our story. We have to continue to use art to show the world that we are human and that we are entitled to rights and self-determination.
Yeah. So we're here today in London as part of the bigger festival, the Voices of Palestine, and you've been invited to showcase quite a few artwork that you brought down today. Tell us a bit more about your participation in this whole festival.
Well, when we were first invited, they told us you can't use the walls for any artwork.
Oh dear.
I said, okay, well, we'll see about that. And then they said, and you're going to have 3 hours to install the artwork and 3 hours to take it down. I said, that's kind of tight, but we'll get back. So we came back to them and says, we find a way to do it. And we're going to put the artwork on the floor because you're not letting us use the walls.
Okay.
And because it's on the floor, we can put it in 3 hours and take it down in 3 hours. We will, instead of using original art, we're going to print the art on material that can be put on the floor and people can walk on it. And this is a new way of doing things that hasn't been done before. So this exhibit is the first of its kind around the world ever to have a major art exhibit being placed on the floor. And people walk on it as they look around the art.
Just on that, congratulations for being in the forefront of how to exhibit in the most challenging situation. How do you feel about people actually walking on all this incredible artwork? I know they're not the original, but there's some kind of symbolic sort of, perhaps things, as part of this?
Well, in general, there's really no problem with walking on this art because you can't damage it walking on art. Even if your feet were muddy, it can be mopped the same way you mop the floor. It's linoleum, it's waterproof, and it's scratch-proof, and it's skid-proof, and it's fire retardant. So the material is safe. The problem is a question of, what is it like stepping on art? Are you, treating the art poor, like
Yeah, exactly. Disrespecting the art.
disrespected the art or not. In my opinion, is as we're taking the art and we're integrating it into the environment. And the environment is the floor. It becomes part of the place, and you walk on it because it is part of walking on the floor. Like if you was...
It's almost a sign of acceptance, right? All these Palestinian work.
It is an honor for me to walk on a map of Palestine.
There you go.
Okay? Not the other way around. We're not like... Now, there are some people that raise some issues about, we have a piece of art that highlights the names of martyrs. They were sewn on a flag. There were 2,500 names.
Right.
That the women in the Scottish Highland each got a list, and they cut pieces of cloth. They wrote the names on them, and then they sewed the cloth to the Palestinian flag. And some people expressed, that they're concerned about stepping on those, and so we've agreed with them that's probably okay. We can not do that, and we ask for that painting to be cordoned off, and it's cordoned off, and nobody is actually walking on it, and out of respect for the names of the martyrs. But the map of Palestine, I said, when you're in Palestine, where do you walk? You walk on Palestine, because you're in Palestine.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful way of looking at it.
We would walk on the same thing. Like I said, it's an honor for us to. And you can see, out of all the exhibits we have, the map is the most popular. And attracts the most people, because to us, it's all about the land. It's all about the land.
Absolutely.
And the land of Palestine is very important. And people want to come, and they want to see their village is carrying its original name that it had in 1948. No, you can't find a map now that you can buy from an atlas or whatever that has your village name on it. Because there were 550 villages that were depopulated, bulldozed, and their names were changed. Like my village, if I get a map from the library here, it's going to say Kfar Shalem. I'm not from Kfar Shalem. I'm from Selma. Okay? Yeah. So people come here and they see the names of the village. They become very emotional. A lot of people cry when they see the original name that their really village sad. Used to be. And we had some people here just a little while ago. They were tearing upon seeing the map on the floor. So it is very important. The map is the most important aspect of any exhibit I've done during the last few years.
And is it a permanent fixture in your museums?
Yeah, the one we borrowed this from Edinburgh.
From Edinburgh.
Yeah,
and
we're going to take it back.
In Connecticut?
We have similar ones in Connecticut.
And I think that's a really important information you've just shared with us.
I started the idea, every time I do an exhibit, I put a map on the floor.
Yeah.
Well, we were starting with one thing on the floor, but now we have 40 things on the floor.
Yeah, of course.
Because we discovered, so this has to do with we're trying to change how the world exhibits arts. There's been a number of changes that's making this necessary to reevaluate, because the technology now allows us to print high resolution, high quality images that cannot be distinguished from the original artwork, and it can be placed on the floor, and it can be without getting damaged, without anything. And what that means now we have access to millions of square meters of space that can be used to exhibit art. We don't have to wait for these museums to 5 years before they tell us, we can give you an exhibit, but you have to wait 5 years because we're booked.
And you get this one wall.
And you get this little thing.
Yeah. So
we in a way, this will break the hold that establishments and museums and racially motivated institutions that keeps us out.
Yeah.
And by using excuses like there's no space and they're booked and all that. Meanwhile, they have thousands of square feet of empty space on the floor. So now artists can have their artwork on the floor easily without spending much money and without having to wait months.
Just going back on that, You're saying about like there's been barriers and all that stuff. Do you feel that through your work by putting together founding Palestine Museum that you've actually managed to broken the barrier?
Well, this is new. This is a breakthrough. This is like a groundbreaking exhibit. This is the first time it happens. Obviously, it may take time. We're not sure how people are going to react to it, but I think there's a good argument for doing it, because just think about the amount of space that becomes available for free.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me one office building that doesn't have space on the floor. Name one.
But also art as a form of resistance.
Yeah.
If you could, because Pablo Picasso produced
Yeah.
the Guernica, which was...
Well, the art is a form of resistance also, but this is also a different subject. This is a subject of Palestinians taking the lead in showing the world how better to exhibit art. And that is the point that we're trying to make here.
Being the true innovator in your field.
Gaza and Palestine is changing the world.
For sure.
And it's not changing it just because we're victims. It's changing it because we are pioneers of ideas.
Absolutely.
And we are pioneering the vision of making art more accessible to people and exhibiting art in ways that has never been thought of before. Now, I go back 2,000 years, and art used to be on the floor. All the mosaics in churches, in the streets, all the mosaic was on the floor. So
That is
what
true.
happened to that? We're going back to the same concept, that the floor and the walls are the same thing.
Let's talk about that's absolutely fantastic, and I feel that you're right. I feel like with what's happening in Gaza and the whole Palestinian cause, you are actually leading the way in many ways, and people are starting to see that. I would like to find out more about the art that you're putting on as part of this exhibition today, the artists themselves. Would you like to talk more about that?
Yeah, we have about 26 artists involved in the exhibit here, representing about 40 works of art. And these artists come from all over the world. Most of them are Palestinian, with the exception of one or two. And the art that I've curated and selected basically tells the Palestinian story over the last 100 years. That's why we use the Via Dolorosa Palestinese. This is the road of pain of the Palestinians. It started with the colonization of Palestine, to the Nakba, to the occupation, to the apartheid, to the genocide. These are all the stations of our pain, just like they were the stations of the cross in the Via Dolorosa in Jerusalem. So we evoke the thought of the Jesus walking the Via Dolorosa.
So that's a historical story.
And
as
the
part of it.
Palestinians had to walk their own journey, had their own journey of pain, which continues till today. And there are parallels between the two journeys. Some people may consider it's a bit too getting into religion too much, but I could not help see the similarity and the analogy between the two, especially that we are placing the art on the floor that represents basically a walk. It's the road on the, we walk on it. It's a street from one side of the building to the other. If that does not represent our Via Dolorosa, what does?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. The thought behind it. How did you manage to get involved in this festival today, and what made you want to do it?
I think I was invited to participate in it based on prior work that we did, and I did exhibits in Venice, Italy. One year we were part of the Venice Biennale, and I did exhibits at P21 and created the museum at Edinburgh and all that. So I have a track record of artistic events and accomplishments and new ideas all the time. So what they presented me was a Mission Impossible exhibit.
All right.
But I quickly turned it around and turned the tables. We went from that to a very innovative approach and took their dead-end situation and turned it into a groundbreaking event with great vision of art and how art should be exhibited, and at the same time highlighting the Palestinian experience and showing the level of pain Palestinians have experienced, but at the same time showing the beauty of Palestine, of the artwork that you see on the floor, and the sumud of the Palestinians, and how we are turning pain, taking pain, absorbing it, and turning around and creating hope for the future. And we are determined to do that.
Absolutely. You know, when you're going through, when you keep saying about pain and all these different situations that Palestinians have been going through for the past decades, you turn that into resistance. Your resistance comes in the form of creativity, art, music, film. And for yourself, how do you manage to channel a lot of, you know, your resistance as a Palestinian through this work that you're doing? You're putting together a museum, getting in touch with all these different people. What's on the forefront of your thinking when you think about like coming from a place of resistance?
I mean, my thinking is a vision. That the vision that we have is that, yes, you could do this to us, you could do that to us, but we'll absorb the punches and we'll stand tall against it, and we'll do whatever we can. We'll resist to the extent possible, and we will turn around and we will turn that into a victory in the future. That we will succeed, we will prevail at the end.
Yes.
By sticking to our positions.
Your principles.
We know our case is just. We have suffered unbelievable injustice, unbelievable acts of undescribable violence. There are no words that can describe what was done to the Palestinians in Gaza. No words. In fact, we submitted a proposal to the Venice Biennale to show a project of embroidery that documents 100 scenes of genocide in Gaza.
Oh my gosh.
And our title for the exhibit was, quote, space, quote, comma, asterisk, asterisk, says, no words. In other words, we could not find any words at all that we can describe what we're going to present and the experience that we're going to document in that project. And that gives you an idea of the depth of the injustice and the depth of atrocity that we have suffered, that we have encountered at the hands of people who have no morals and who have no
repercussions,
no humanity whatsoever.
Exactly, as well. Oh, yeah. So what's your plans for the future for Palestine Museum?
Well, my plan is we're going to have a Palestine museum in every major city around the world.
Yes, inshallah.
That's going to take a long time, but we have two now.
Yeah.
We're working on Chicago next.
Cool.
Possibly London, possibly somewhere in Ireland, and who knows where else.
Italy, Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
it could
always
be anywhere. Now, what I created in Edinburgh is a new model that I've developed.
Okay.
That we can take that model and we can replicate it in many places.
That's different to the one in Connecticut?
Yeah, it's different than the one in Connecticut. The one in Connecticut was just a nucleus, the starting point, but it was not meant to be the final form.
Model of it, yeah.
What we created in Edinburgh is the modern model that I've developed and that got implemented and is successful, and it is on its way to becoming self-sustaining less than 12 months than it was created. We have 60 volunteers there. They have 10 different teams in the 60 volunteers. Each team is responsible for a certain function in the museum, and all these functionality, all these teams are operating, are empowered and operating with a certain amount of independence.
I was going to say.
And altogether, they are running the museum on their own.
Okay. So when you go to the museum, especially the one in Edinburgh, because
Yeah.
we're in the UK right now, what can people expect to see?
You're going to see a lot of artwork. You're going to see certain unique things like sculptures.
Okay.
You're going to see children's drawings from Gaza. You're going to see things on the floor. You're going to see things to buy. You're going to see embroidery. A variety of things.
Do you plan to add more different?
Yeah, we have exhibits every month or every 2 months.
Yeah.
We have a certain section in the middle of the museum where we have 8 boards,
Right.
and these boards we put what we call transient exhibits. These are exhibits that are going to be on like for a month or two.
Yeah.
And then we replace them with a new exhibit every month or every couple of months.
And how do you select the work that you're going to be exhibiting?
By not listening to anybody.
Oh, brilliant. I love it. True Palestinian.
Now, I can't tell you how much people try to get into, like, my
Influence
business
you. Yeah,
and try
yeah.
to tell me how to do an art
Exactly,
exhibit.
yeah.
And including giving me a list of artists I should include in the, And so I tell people, butt out.
Good. That's how it should be. And what are you hoping to get out of this festival today by being here?
Well, we have 2 objectives here. The first objective is to show an impressive exhibit for Palestine, so people know that we Palestinians are not second-rate, that we are on the top of the list, and our work is spectacular.
Yeah.
To me, good is not good enough. It has to be
best.
spectacular.
Spectacular.
It has to be the best anybody can do. And if I can find a way of doing it better, it would have been done better. And that's one thing. The second one, I really wanted to debut and introduce the concept of artwork on the floor.
Okay.
Because that is a huge thing. And
A new concept, right?
Yeah, and I think that happened today. Hopefully the media will eventually catch up and pick up on it.
Yeah.
I'm sure some people from The Guardian were here today because that's their building. They would have seen some of this.
Right.
But would they write about it? It doesn't surprise me if they don't, because we're used to that. We have to create our own media. We have to create our own publicity because we cannot rely on the other people's to do that for us.
So what happens next after today's festival in London? Where are you going to be involved in another festival and take all these beautiful work with
Well,
you?
we don't know. I mean, we're going to pack all this stuff in the car. Tomorrow it's going to be driven to Edinburgh, unless somebody offers us a place to exhibit them here. We'll get like another 6 hours to do that.
Well, let's hope someone will step forward and say, we've got the space for you.
Yeah, so, but it's easy to, that's very portable now. Somebody has a space, bring the car, unload 40 pieces, put them on the floor, we're done in 2 hours.
I can see as well there are like price lists of the artwork.
Yeah.
So you're also exhibiting
We're trying to
and
sell
selling.
those because they cost us money. I don't want. It's no surprise that our project costs us about £10,000 to do this.
Of course.
You can't do anything without spending money. But it's still, if it was original artwork that had to be installed on the wall and shipped and all that, we're talking about $30,000, $40,000. So, but it is, we hopefully will sell some of it.
Okay.
And if not, we still have it and we use it again.
Sure.
Because you can use that for 10 years. Those things don't wear out.
Yeah. So am I okay to ask, how do you fund the museum? Is it through donations or is it through the sales of?
Well, like in Edinburgh, we started by advancing money. We paid for 1 year's lease for the space, which is a significant amount of money. But as time went by, we started generating revenue from donations, and the Scottish people have been, and the visitors have been very generous, and also by selling prints and artworks and things like that. And then that generates revenue that we could use to offset the cost. And there's also, like in August, there was a big 3 festivals in
Yes,
Edinburgh,
in Edinburgh, yeah.
and that brought more people and more revenue. So we think like overall now we're at the point where we can be sufficient by deriving our own donations. We may put 1 or 2 fundraisers on during the year to supplement that. So we're in good shape. We have a base now, a base of revenue that makes it sustainable.
That's excellent to hear. So, any last words before we part?
My last word is to ask Palestinians to support their own art initiatives and to come here and buy Palestinian products, not just to come look around, walk into a museum, not do anything, and then walk out without helping. You know, every Palestinian has to put their effort. We're putting a lot of our work in, and we're putting a lot of people. We have people who are not Palestinians who are working 20 hours a week for Palestine. We'd like to make sure that the Palestinians at least doing as much work as the non-Palestinians.
As part of it,
yeah. Yeah, volunteering. We're an all-volunteer organization. We have 60 volunteers in Edinburgh. 60.
And most are not Palestinians.
A majority are not Palestinians. We do have fine Palestinians for volunteers who are there. Our hours are 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. 7 days a week. We have 2 shifts, 2 people each shift. We have 4 people every day, times 7, 28 people for 1 week working. So it's a major effort. People are committed to it. We want our Palestinians to spin up to that and support it, and not just with talk and come in to tell us to don't step on this map and don't step on that map. We want them to put their put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah. And actually take part.
I just wanted to let you know, because they are time sensitive, but there are some medical evacuees who came with Project Pure Hope to the UK.
Yeah.
And 3 of them, actually, I've just bumped into them. I really want to introduce you guys.
Okay.
So
Okay.
their children have been evacuated to London for treatment. Wow. And the health is the one who actually...
Do you want him to speak to Faisal?
Yeah, just introduce, but don't record them for safety and security
Yeah,
purposes.
yeah.
They can't be.
Are you happy with everything? Do you want more questions?
Yeah,
You've got a lot of materials.
I think we're good.
You've got enough materials to
No,
promote Palestine Museum.
It's good.
That's great.
I've said my piece.
Let me introduce.
What a sweet. Sweet, do you want to sit down?